The last time Sear was here, that easy button, remember it was like... Well, listen to it now. It sounds like it's like... Just listen. Staples sold me a demonic easy button.
My God, that's messed up.
Right over here.
What?
Can I show you this?
Yeah.
Talk about creepy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right?
It's so deep.
Isn't that weird?
Is that a toilet? It looks like a prison cell. Oh, thank you, Mom. What did we get?
It's Christmas. I don't know.
I have no idea what I've ordered, but every time a box comes in with a camera sign on it, I know it's going to be good. Oh my God, I hope it's the drone batteries. Phantom 4 batteries. Guys, I'm never gonna run out of battery mid-drone shot again. I broke another 70D. Oh my God.
Yeah, you know, you might need a better
Yeah.
Gorilla Pod.
Oh man. Yeah, it's got some chunk to it. Yeah. Today's topic of discussion, cameras and the gear I use to film these videos. So if you don't like cameras or how I make these, or you don't want to make videos at some point in your life, basically if you don't want to hear me talk about my cameras and my gear and my love for filmmaking, then just come back tomorrow. In order to make this as painless as possible, I'm going to break this video into 3 segments. Also, this is not the gear you need to make these type of videos. This is the gear I choose to use to produce these type of videos. So, without further ado, the first is camera bodies. My main shooter that I'm vlogging on right now and that I shoot all of my walk around stuff on is the Canon 70D. Canon 70D is a great, awesome entry-level camera. Downside to this camera is it's not full frame, so like all of your lenses get cropped in and doesn't do well in low light, blah, blah, blah. But what this camera is really good for is being able to flip the screen out, see yourself when you're vlogging, and as far as cameras go, it's pretty reliable. Next on the list, Canon 6D. The Canon 6D actually has a full frame sensor, so all of your Canon lenses work great, all of the glass looks really nice. It has an awesome image quality. The only downside of this camera is the screen doesn't flip out and it doesn't have autofocus. Not having autofocus is probably the biggest reason I'm looking to get rid of this camera. I carry the Canon 6D because the image quality in terms of photos is much better in my opinion, and I use this camera for the majority of my time lapses. I really want to swap out the Canon 6D for the Canon 1DX Mark II because then I can shoot slow motion in 4K video with autofocus, which is a game changer for me. Next little guy, you see me use it a lot at night, is the Sony RX100 Mark IV. It's $1,000 and I think it's a phenomenal camera. It shoots 4K for 24 frames and 30 frames a second. Well, there's two main reasons I use this camera in my vlogs. One, it has a super fast Carl Zeiss 1.8 lens. It performs really well in low light. And the second reason I really love this camera is it shoots 240 frames slow motion in 1080p. The image is a little grainy and it only records 1 second of real time to turn it into 20 seconds of slow motion. But to have a slow motion camera that fits in your pocket is like the biggest breakthrough in the world. Before I had this, I'll show you what I shot slow motion on. This is my Red Epic. The battery's not even on this. The battery comes out to here and the lens comes out to here. It's a big camera. This is amazing, Sony. This is amazing. The last body is a GoPro Hero 4 Black Edition. I can't speak enough about GoPro. GoPro is so successful, I don't even need to tell you who they are. I use it every day. It's broken. I could honestly do with like 4 more of these, but these are not to be used as replacements to any of those. This has its own purpose. Next up, I'm only including this because its camera's built in. The Phantom 4 drone from DJI, or as you guys know him, Captain. I have its little brother here, the Phantom 2, which I shot all my short films on, Parallax Theory. I've destroyed it. It doesn't work anymore. But this, the Phantom 4, this is like a near perfect aircraft. If you could add slow motion and interchangeable to this, then I would buy it. That's what I'd be willing to do. Okay, next is what's in my opinion the most important part of the camera. That is the eyes in which the camera can see through the lens. This is kind of like the flagship lens. This is the lens that all my other lenses are built around. This is the Canon 2470 L Series 2.8. All in all, this is like one of the best lenses money can buy if you are trying to get something that covers a lot of bases. I don't actually like zoom lenses because I like prime lenses. A prime lens is a lens like this that does not zoom. This is 35mm. You put this on your camera and if you want it to get closer, you need to walk to it. Instead of just zooming in until a shot looks right, it makes me get up and walk around until I find the right framing. In my opinion, the prettiest lens I've ever shot on in my life, that is the Canon 85mm 1.2. This lens is so fast, literally like a paperclip. The side of a paperclip would barely be in focus. I'm really afraid of this one breaking, which brings me to why I use the lenses I use on my vlog. One of the absolute best lens that I found, actually I didn't even find this. This was a referral from Casey Neistat. The Canon 10 to 22mm, $550, you can't get a better lens. The reason this lens is so good for vloggers is the autofocus is dead silent. That way you can stay in focus while vlogging and the sound of the focus ring will never mess up your shot. That expensive 24 to 70mm zoom I showed you is kind of the equivalent to this 17 to 50mm Tamron 2.8. On a camera that's not full frame, this is gonna basically give you 24 to 70mm anyway. But it's a really nice lens, it's really sharp, it's really light and compact and just well made. The only problem with this lens is the autofocus is so loud that you can't even hear yourself think. So the majority of all of my time lapses when I shoot on the 60 is shot on the 24 to 70 L series. And the majority of all the time lapses when I shoot on my 70D is on the 17 to 50 Tamron. They're pretty much interchangeable. I just like them both, so I carry them both. This next lens I honestly rarely ever carry because it's so big and so heavy. This is the 70 to 200mm 2.8 L series without image stabilization. I hate saying those words every time because image stabilization would be so nice. But this lens is really good for like sports and wildlife, except it's not, 200mm isn't really that far of a zoom for wildlife. Like you kind of need the big guys for wildlife. Honestly, what I found this lens's perfect purpose is for, this is the headshot lens. If you want someone, like if you want a photo of someone that's like right there and you want it to look crisp, really pretty, the background blurry, this is how you get that. This lens is phenomenal for that purpose and really that purpose only. The last lens I can talk about is the lens I'm shooting on right now. Here, let me switch lenses. I think that's it. I have more lenses, that's probably what you see back here, but we'll do that in another video. This is just what's in my camera bag. And finally, we come to the last segment, Camera accessories. Camera accessories are almost more important than the lens because without them, your camera doesn't work. On a given day, I carry 9 of these Canon batteries. They work in the 60 and the 70D, and they last a pretty decent amount of time. I just have a ton because in case I forget to charge them one night, these are the ones I really need. Next, I have a bunch, I don't have a bunch, I have 4 of these little Sony batteries for the RX100 Mark IV. Like I said, it's a great camera, except the batteries last like 25 minutes. So I carry 4 of them because they're also super expensive. I don't get how are batteries expensive. I just don't understand that. Then finally, I carry like 6 little GoPro batteries because they seem to die every 10 minutes as well. And there's nothing worse than setting up a 3-hour time lapse on a car ride of the GoPro only to get to your destination and realize that the battery died 2 hours ago. Memory cards. Have a lot of them. Have a bunch of different ones and have backups. If you wipe a card that still has all of your footage on it for the day, you end up having a very bad day. Phantom 4 batteries, I don't even need to tell you. You watch these videos. I love the Phantom 4. Phantom 4 controller, I know people that carry more than one of these. I don't know why the hell you'd ever do that. If anything, you need 2 iPads because it drains the batteries of iPads. Technology's just draining. I'm starting to see that's like the trend here. In case you were thinking, hey Sawyer, that looks like your great-great-grandfather owned it and used it to take photos in the 1700s. Well, if you said that, you're probably right because this is an intervalometer and it's an ancient piece of technology. Canon doesn't build intervalometers into their cameras even though they're capable because I hacked my 6D and put a software on it where now I have an intervalometer built in. If you're wondering how you get time lapses on DSLRs, this is the answer. It's called an intervalometer. It will make your hair turn gray and they're way too expensive for what they are. But you need them. Next, filters. Don't be that dude who shoots without filters, or woman. Don't be anyone who shoots without filters. If it's a super bright day and you want the picture of your friend with the background like all blurry, you need these. Otherwise, how are you ever going to shoot at f1.2 on a sunny day? But in terms of filters, I don't like buying cheap filters. I have a theory. If you're going to spend a good bit of money on your lenses, you should spend good money on your filters as well. Because essentially, it's just glass you're putting on top of your lens. So if you buy a crappy filter and you have a really nice lens, you're just basically putting some cheap thing on top of the one thing you paid for. So Tiffin is awesome. That's who all of my filters, even for the Red camera, they're all Tiffin. They're good. This car mount's a little shakier than the GoPro one, but it doesn't fall off. The GoPro one, you have to screw here to go up and then screw here to go over. This one has what's known as a ball head, which means you just loosen the grip here and then you can position it wherever you want in any direction. It's awesome. There is one thing I always have with me whenever I'm using a GoPro car mount. I always have a super long piece of string because I tie it around the GoPro and then I put it in the car and have whoever who's driving with me like hold onto it or I tie it onto a door handle. That way in case it falls off again, it won't get run over. It'll just dent my car and drag on the ground. Then in more GoPro news, this grip clamp with odd shaped mount, I bought it because I thought I could like clamp it onto stuff and roll the GoPro. It doesn't work good. I think this company is genius. These Joby GorillaPods. These GorillaPods are the best things in the world. When you're walking around, you can hold your camera here and it's nice and stable. When you're vlogging, you can hold it out here and talk and it gives you extra room. And then when you want to put your camera down and walk past it and then have to come back and get it, you can do that with these. They're amazing. Yeah, but if you ever see me like complaining about my back hurting, this is kind of why. If you guys do like lenses though, you'll love the Cinema Primes. We'll talk about those another time. But yeah, me and Seer have to go work on the short film you guys are going to be watching tomorrow. It's called Get Ready to Run. But yeah, it's his voiceover and I shot it, so...
My voiceover.
You know, I don't know. You know, I don't know. So go watch it. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Check out his channel too because he's the absolute man.
Because of you.
Yeah. If you want to see someone eat potato chips really, really sexily, he's your man. It's gone. It's gone.